Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy heading to the White House to meet with President Trump tomorrow after that summit between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Overnight, Trump extending Monday's invitation to other European leaders to join Zelenskyy. This will mark the Ukrainian leader's first time back in the White House since that disastrous visit in February.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Tomorrow's meeting takes place as it becomes clearer what went on in the Trump-Putin meeting.
Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon.
Already occupying 1/5 of Ukraine's territory. Now sources telling ABC News that during the summit, Putin demanding Ukraine give up the entire Donetsk region in exchange for halting offensives elsewhere and further attacks. Those sources saying Trump relayed that message to Zelenskyy and other European leaders who insist Ukraine shouldn't be forced to give up any of its land and that pressure must be kept on the Kremlin to stop the war. Trump had vowed to push Putin for an immediate ceasefire, but now abandoning the idea, shifting his stance to echo Kremlin calls for a so-called peace agreement instead. Trump had also said he wanted Putin to agree to a joint meeting with Zelenskyy, warning of severe economic consequences if the Russian leader didn't cooperate. But Moscow claims that wasn't even brought up, and Trump, despite giving the Kremlin repeated deadlines to reach an agreement or face sanctions, now saying he's not planning any. It's also been revealed the president hand-delivered a letter to the Russian president written by the First Lady. In the letter, she raised concerns over Ukrainian children. Ukraine's documented almost 20,000 children forcibly deported to Russia. Putin touting Friday's summit as timely and very useful, and Trump calling it a very successful day, claiming to have made a lot of progress. Yet days after the summit, it's still unclear what, if anything, was actually agreed upon. And as Putin stepped foot on US soil for the first time in nearly a decade, welcomed lavishly with a red carpet, applause and a flyover, his own military was still bombing Ukraine. Glide bombs and drone attacks reported across the country. Putin's forces trying to advance on the front lines. The Russian ministry releasing this new undated video of their offensive. Smoke rising from this Ukrainian home after a Russian strike. Russia's intensifying attacks this week have added more pressure on Ukraine's already stretched military as they try to fend off the Russians using drones to target military vehicles. Despite Trump endorsing Putin's claims he wants a peace agreement, the reality on the ground is that Russia's war on Ukraine is neither easing nor ending.
Well, guys, we now know that the Secretary-General of NATO, the President of the European Union, the Finnish Prime Minister, the Italian Prime Minister, the German Chancellor are all planning to go to Washington together with President Zelenskyy. Why? Well, for two reasons. One, to avoid a repetition of that disastrous meeting that you saw there in the piece, in which Zelenskyy was berated in front of the world's press. But secondly, also try and persuade President Trump to swing back to their arguments that there must be a ceasefire. The guns must fall silent before the talking can begin. But for now, for Ukrainians, there is no end in sight. Gio?
No end in sight. All right, Ian, thank you so much for your reporting.